grass, waiting for time to pass. Pile of tires, pile of tires, pile of tires, sitting in the grass, waiting on the time to pass. Pile of tires.
Like that, it's that one little transition into that chorus that I just did where I can't ever remember that line for some reason. Yeah, I'll try that one again. It's going click, click, clack. Posted up in the sun, but can't see the screen on my digital device. I'm looking for someone, but I'm taking any shit, I'm taking any advice. Running out of original ideas, haven't given a shit in years. I'm making any progress, I'm not making any plans. I'm not making an appearance, I'm not making a stand. I'm just bumming around. Clearly enjoying the shit we were playing on guitar. Like he was just sitting there like mumbling, like nodding his head a little bit. It's pretty funny. Some people they have like a few bedrooms with 2 beds in each room, and it's just for like, I went there one time a long time ago. I didn't stay there because they didn't have room, but they had just like rooms that people were staying in for just like different yeah, it was just like homeless people or like people with like mental problems. Like
it could be
all living in this house together. They serve food for them. They all kind of hang out there. I don't know much about it, but you might be part of that. I noticed all his clothes are always like really, really baggy, so I just assumed they were all like donated things he gets from like donations.
Most likely. I've seen him come out of the other church too, the one on the church on Moreland.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he's involved in a lot of those programs and stuff. People helping him out.
See him walking around with a Bible.
Oh really? Yeah, he's definitely involved in the church programs. The churches are really like some of the only people that help homeless people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like, you see a lot of homeless guys with Bibles and like plenty of church literature.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you ever go to church growing up, or?
Not really.
No.
We weren't too seriously religious. I think occasionally we'd go on like Easter or something, but we didn't really practice it too seriously. I was never told like anything about what church even is or like what you're supposed to do. No one ever like told me you need to like accept Jesus or anything like that.
Like, it was just like a place you go occasionally on Christmas to go out as a family.
Yeah. Have you ever written any songs about any religious songs? I mean, not religious per se, but any nods to Jesus or God?
Yeah, I think I've got a few that are like kind of, you know, might hint at different thoughts on religion, maybe. Nothing too much. I try not to get too, I don't know. My favorite band growing up was Bad Religion. And like all their songs are just like a lot of like anti-religion or anti-this. Like, so I don't know. I try to. That was my favorite band growing up, but I don't know. I have a thing about writing songs that are like anti-things. I'm not really into going against people's beliefs and whatnot. But I've got a few that are, you know, questioning different aspects of society.
I think I'm gonna lose a toe. Get some blood flow. Gonna find me frozen to the side of the street.
It got scary, man. Like, I did it because I had to, and it was easy to deal with when I was staying drunk all the time, but I mean, I'm really not cut out for that shit, or being locked up, which I've done that, spent a lot of time in there too, but I mean, that's not me. I'm like a really nice, gentle person. Like, I don't consider myself to be like this tough, rugged, like, street guy. Like, so you have to deal with a lot of fucking assholes out there that like want to try to get over on you or fight you, or I mean, I've been beat up, robbed, jumped a bunch of times, and that's, I mean, there's just, I don't like a lot of the people that are out here, like a lot of crackheads and shitty people looking to just do you harm. So that, and being starving sometimes.
Sure.
Being hungry.
Have you ever had to go to a rescue mission or anything, or a homeless
I
shelter?
went to a homeless shelter one time, and I said I would never do it again.
Really?
I said I would take my chances in the streets. It was just, I went to Peachtree and Pine. It's like the big one in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a miserable place. It's just all like fighting crackheads and shitty people, and like, it's like you're just trapped in this, they lock you in at night and you're just trapped in this giant warehouse of shitty people. So I figured I'd rather be out, you know, in the world where you can, if you encounter some shitty people, you can just leave. You don't have to, you're not stuck there.
Yeah. And there was a time when you were taking some substances and you had some issues that now you I know you've talked about this before in the article, but you were there when those guys OD'd in Little 5 Points, right?
Yeah, that was I'm not like a heroin user, I guess. I don't know the story behind with the other guys. I was out there and I would take things as they came to me. I didn't really seek out drugs as much as I did alcohol, but some guy came through town and he was trying to sell some heroin to people, and this was at the time when all the heroin in town was being cut with fentanyl, which is like the strongest opiate in the world, and like the tiniest little bit will kill you. And so he came through, and I guess he was selling some drugs to people. He walked by where I was sitting on the wall in front of Wax and Facts, and I was panhandling just for change for beer, and I just said, "Hey man, can you spare some change?" And he was like, "You know, do you fuck with heroin?" And I was like, "Sure." And he was like, "Here, I'll give you a sample." And he gave me like a little baggie of it with a business card, and he was like, "Call me if you like it." I wish I kept his business card. If I had known that shit was gonna kill people. Like, I remember I left it at the hospital, in the hospital bed, but I had a business card for the guy, and he just gave it to me. I just ate it. Like, I didn't bang it or snort it or anything. I was just like, "Oh, cool, some dope," and I ate it. You know, not really trying to get too high, but yeah, the last thing I remember was just feeling really, really good, and then fading away. And I guess I woke up and I was in the hospital, and they said, "You have overdosed on heroin." And when I went back to Little 5 the next day when they let me out of the hospital, the officer there, Officer La Rosa, told me the story. He's like, "Yeah, man, you know, like, they found you and 2 other guys in the square, like, you were all unconscious, and one of the guys was dead.
So there's 3 of you guys that took the same stuff.
I guess we all got the same stuff from the same guy, the same night, at the same time, and all passed out in the square at the same time. I didn't know either of the guys. I don't know if they know each other, but yeah, it was scary, man. That was kind of a wake-up call for me. I don't know, it hit me kind of hard just thinking that, like, wow, man, I'm like having close calls with death out here. As it's happened before, but never like that. Never where I was like, somebody actually lost their life and I was right next to them and it could have been me. You know, if I had snorted it or if I had access to a needle or something, I'd be dead too. So after that, some friends from my past came looking for me and they kind of helped me get my shit together and get off the streets, give me a place to stay. And
That was only about 2 years ago, right? Or
I want to say a year ago. I want to say that was last year, around this time maybe. Or maybe 2 years. I don't know. Go on for hours, man, telling you about all the times I've been to jail. I don't even know how many there are, but most of them, probably 80% of them, were just things I did when I was drunk and being stupid. Shoplifting or pissing in public or shit like that. There's a few of them where I did like a little bit of time for some dumb stuff I did, or dumb stuff I didn't do. I told you about the one where they found the glue, they thought it was heroin, and I ended up spending a year over that. So I mean, there's a few times I did some time for things I didn't do, but for the most part it was just all drunken antics adding up. It adds up when you keep doing it over and over. The judge doesn't like that, and he gives you a little more time every time.
what about your albums?
There's a lot of them. I think there's like 30 of them by now. I got most of them are on Bandcamp, and I got like about 5 or 6, 7 of them that are in tape format somewhere in the world. I'm not really sure where. I think my brother has most of them. I got a couple of them on my old roommate's laptop. I've been meaning to go get those, but then I got like maybe 20 that I did in the last couple of years just on Bandcamp. I got one, there's one on there called Mania that was written entirely in jail. It was when I was doing that year for the trafficking.
What about the song you wrote recently? The brand new one you posted.
Today?
Yeah, what's the name of it? What's it called?
That was Shape of Love. Yeah, I just wrote that today. I don't really know what it's about. Just kind of came. Yeah, lately I've just been doing stuff. I don't have any really equipment or access to any equipment these days, so I've just been doing like acoustic stuff. But I'd like to get some equipment. I got this just found this electric guitar amp on the side of the road the other day, so I'm going electric again. Now once I get some recording gear, I can start making some more full music, not just acoustic. All the master tapes and all that would have been gone. My brother's been pretty good about keeping some of my important shit though, like tapes and stuff. So it's good to have him.
I'm trying to put on a mean exterior or a very threatening night.
Why?
I just look like sucker all over my nose. Like I used to get right hitchhiking stuff a lot. I mean now I let my beard dry, I'm gonna go home and sleep.
Okay.
So people take advantage of you? Is that what you're saying?
Well, they know people here on the street are a lot of them are heroin addicts, crack addicts, and all kind of junkies. I don't necessarily want to spend, a lot of time getting to know them because I've had trouble with them. And just had one laneway. I guess they think I'm approachable because I talk to everybody.
Right.
I'm a traveler. If you're a traveler, you learn to talk to people. If you don't, you're going to be awfully lonely, in my opinion. So, Damon, what's going on?
I like to put my
It's okay.
I'm trying to remember where I was saying it. Alright. Take 2.
All right.
Put my beer in a cup. I like to keep my cup in one hand and something to buck you up in the other hand. I like to keep a joint hanging from my lip, and I try to keep the smoke tucked behind my ear. I got my favorite metal band on my shirt to let you all know that I can be a jerk. I like to get high before I get let down. I like to get drunk before I hit the ground. I like to get lost before I get found. I wanna take you out before I leave town. I like to keep my whiskey in my truck, but sometimes I don't have the best luck. They steal my license and I ride my bike, and when they steal my bike I gonna go for a hike. And sometimes I have too much to drink. They lock me up and give me time to think, count all my losses and all my wins. And when they let me out, I'm gonna do it again. I like to get high before I get let down. I like to get drunk before I hit the ground. I like to get lost before I get found. I wanna take you out before I leave town. I like to do my drinking in the AM. When I get bored, I ain't staying. I'll take a walk and go get a beer. Going home's my only fear. I take the first bus right out of here, and then she'll wonder why I don't wanna see her. And maybe then she'll realize that I'm sick of her and all of her lies. I like a good buzz before I make love. I like to get wasted before I catch the buzz. I like to get drunk before I do my drugs. I wanna take you out before I go nuts.
Man, I lost my voice on that one. Follow any guideline. I'm not trying to sound like anything I've heard. It's like I'm always trying to make something that sounds new. And that's, like a lot of songs I write are, just okay, it's going to be a typical song. It's going to be to these 2 chords that you've heard a million times in other songs. And that might be, me trying to make a catchy song about something or focus more on the lyrics. But when I write a musical piece, it's like, I want it to be, original. I think all art should be completely original. Like, try to put together a chord pattern that no one's ever used before, but still sounds enjoyable to listen to. That you can still say, wow, that sounds awesome. Like, I've never heard anything like that before. A lot of people try to do that, but I don't know. That's why I like to think I try not to have like influences. I try to make something new every time I make a musical piece. A lot of the music I have posted on Bandcamp or whatever doesn't really touch on any of. I haven't really ventured too much into like the actual music writing. Usually when I write songs and post them online or whatever, they're just like, me writing a pop song about, or a catchy song about some shit I went through. But I've been wanting to actually focus on like some actual compositions and do that. Maybe that's something I could do in the future. Because I feel like I could make some pretty interesting sounding melodies and music, but it's not something I've really gotten into too much.
Well, when I listened to your No Control,
yeah,
I really swore you had a band behind you.
Oh, yeah.
And that's probably structurally and musically, I think that's my favorite.
Oh yeah.
It is, because it sounds it's progressive almost, very. I'm a fan of strange rock music. Your other stuff is blues, blues and all that, a little folk. But the No Control was like, wow, this is like, I'm like, man, who's that badass band behind? Because there was a lot of desyncopation. The rhythms were very choppy and very off. And I'm a big fan of that. It attracts my brain. It makes my brain work better.
Yeah.
So I really thought you had a band behind you.
I'm trying to remember what songs are on that album. That's one of the ones I made like just like a year ago, I think. That was shortly after a debacle of craziness on the streets, but I can never remember what songs are on the album. But yeah, I think that was a pretty good one. I was at my friend's house and someone was in the bathroom, so I went outside to take a piss. I was pissing off the porch. And this guy that he lived in like a shack behind the house that I've never met before, but he was walking through and he got mad at me for pissing off the porch. And he's like, what are you doing, man? Pissing off the porch, blah, blah, blah. I was drunk, probably being a little, mouthing off to him. But, damn, I'm still eating it. But, we ended up getting into it, and he fucking starts hitting me. And he was a big motherfucker. He was like twice my size. And I'm a pretty big dude, but this dude was bigger than me, and he was like beating my ass, knocked me to the ground. And I had a pocket knife on me, so I pulled the pocket knife out, and I didn't use it or anything. I just pulled it out, held it up, and I was just like, "Come on, man, back off," or whatever. And he goes to try to take the knife out of my hand. And he got his pinky cut on the knife, and then he just like turned into like, oh man, you stabbed me, fuck, and he like ran inside and called the cops, and he's like, oh man, there's this crazy white boy out here stabbing people, fucking send an officer, and so yeah, they came and arrested me for aggravated assault. Told the guy I stabbed him, but I was the one I got my wrist broken. The dude shattered his fist on my skull. Like I got my ass got beat, like bad. And I just pulled a knife out to try to get the guy to leave me alone. I didn't use it or anything. And he tried to take it and got his pinky cut and told the cops I stabbed him. And so they charged me with aggravated assault. And I went to court for it, and I said, I pled not guilty, I want to take it to a jury trial and fight this thing, because I didn't assault anyone, And the trial took 3 years to get to. But when it finally came time for it, the first time I went to court, they offered me a year in prison with 4 years parole. And I said, fuck no, I'm not doing that, I'm not guilty, take it to trial. And 3 years later, I go to trial, and the public defender I had was like, you know, it turns out I didn't have much of a case, and there's a chance this guy might win. In which case, if you lose a jury trial for something like that, you can get like 25 years in prison. Because they don't like it when you take shit to trial. You know, they want you to take what they offer you when you first go to court. They want you to take the 1 year, but you know, you get, you know, waste taxpayers' money to go through this trial and all this shit. If you lose that trial, they're going to give you the maximum, which is like 25 years. And the public defender told me that. She's like, you know, your case doesn't look good. You were on this guy's property. You know, he's got pictures of his hand all bloody. You know, they had the knife. You know, it's basically his story versus yours. And originally I was going to try to claim self-defense because he was whooping my ass. But there's no law in Georgia that says you can claim self-defense if you're armed and he's not. So the fact that he's whooping my ass, that doesn't mean anything. All they look at is I was armed and he wasn't. So you can't use self-defense at all. So it's basically, you know, it wasn't looking good. So they did, however, offer me 10 years probation if I would take that as opposed to going forward with the trial. And at that point I was like, fine, whatever, I'll take the probation. I don't want to go to prison. I don't want to fucking, it's like, whatever. So I've been on probation for the last like 5 to, maybe it's been like 6 or 7 years maybe now. And every month I have to send this guy some of my money. Like, I'm supposed to be paying, they wanted me to pay $10,000 to this guy. Because the judge in court goes, all right, now how much were your medical bills? The guy said $10,000. And the judge said, okay, restitution $10,000. He didn't ask to see any medical bills or anything. He just took the guy's word for it. This guy's an asshole too. He's like, when he came in the courtroom, he walked in the courtroom and looked at me and he was like, punk! Like, just fucking cussing me out in a courtroom. He wasn't like, he was dressed like all shitty, like just t-shirts and shorts. He used to go to this gym that one of my ex-girlfriends used to go to, and they said he used to creep on all the girls there. Like, he was a creeper, like, asshole macho man type guy. He worked in like a sex shop, like selling like sex toys and shit. It's just like a shitty dude, like a real creeper guy. And I have to give this guy my money every month to stay out of prison. It sucks.
I'll tell you, the best thing you did was fixing that Honda for me. It was quick and it was sweet.
Quick fix, man.
It was, but you really did it.
Yeah, that's the type of thing most people wouldn't think of.
I know, man. It was huge. I mean, I've just got to get over and get the tags for it.
We were ready to change out the starter motor and all kinds of stuff.
I already did. Changed the starter.
We were going to open it up and change.
I changed the
switch and all that.
I've already changed. Yeah, that was down to that part. I just had forgotten about that little thing.
That's, I'd have to think about that one, man. The weirdest thing I would receive. I really can't, I don't know, man. I really can't say. There's so many, like, it's all just like, to me, it's all just one big, like, disgusting thing. It's like, I don't know. I would really have to put some thought into that. But
so living out there versus, you know, maybe having a more structured lifestyle, do you feel you have more freedom being out in the street?
No, not at all, man. You feel trapped, like you feel hopeless. You have no freedom at all. I mean, you're free to like roam around, but I've never enjoyed it. Like, I've never done it by choice. I've never, like, for the most part, it's always been really miserable. And I've always just felt trapped. Like, how do I get out of this? Like, what do I do? But, you know, at the time when it's happening, I was caught in this cycle of, you know, drinking heavily and withdrawing off that when I'm not drinking. And So it was really hard to just pull it together, you know, and do something to get off the street, like whether it be go to a shelter and get cleaned up and look for a job, or whatever steps you have to take to, you know, get out of that lifestyle. I just never found that will to do that. So I always just kind of felt hopeless and trapped out there. I spent a lot of time just sitting on the benches out there, just waiting for something to happen, like waiting for someone to come help me or something. Like, I was really bad at asking for things, especially when I'm in that cycle, when I'm in that mindset. I'm really bad at asking for help or asking for things I need. I just would just kind of sit there and feel helpless and hope for the best.
Tell me the story of how you got to New York. Like, you just bought a ticket one day?
Yeah, I got arrested and I missed a few days of work, so I was losing this job I had, and I was drinking heavily, and I just kind of was like in a drunken blackout, and I guess I came to, and I was at a bus station and I had a ticket to New York. So I was just like, all right, I guess I'm going to New York. And I had a backpack full of some stuff that I needed. Nothing that I actually needed. It was just like a bunch of random like tools and music stuff. I don't think I even brought a change of clothes, but I just took the bus up there, got off the bus, and just started hanging out. I just kind of hung around there for about 2 weeks, hanging on the streets with other people, drinking, panhandling, exploring the city of New York. I'd never been there before, and I mean, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It ended up being pretty miserable in the long run because, you know, I was homeless and lost in a big city dealing with issues, but I had fun for about a week there.
You said you met some guy and you went up to the Bronx with him?
Yeah, I was hanging out with this other homeless guy, and he got his sister to give him some money, and then I accompanied him to the Bronx where he went to go buy some crack. And we went out there, and he bought some crack and smoked it, and we went back. That was, I think, one of the times we got lost on the subway. Neither of us knew a whole lot about how to ride the subway up there. So it took like the entire night just to go out there for like 5 minutes and come back. Just hanging out in the rain. I think there's actually a lot of songs about being in the rain. It's been like another theme of mine.
Yeah, I'll have to sort through that and find it.
Bumming around has like a whole verse about me, I think. I want to get some of the older stuff too put on there. I know my brother has like the old tapes, the old Far Out tapes I was telling you about, all those albums, and I just don't have copies of anything anymore. So that's why I have that Bandcamp, is like my way of keeping my music, because I'm not gonna keep up with that shit. I mean, it would have just got lost if I just had tapes and stuff. But now it's like a place that I can put everything to keep it. Just hope Bandcamp never crashes.
Turn
So good. That's all right. Do the exchange from the G to the. Is they go from G to E? Is that how that goes?
So what
The song you were just playing, or is that an F to what?
F?
To. Yeah, I just need a close up for it.
Nobody would ever say that. Yeah, David is in these types of that role.
I love that little scam too. ATM's gonna run out of money.
What's that?
ATM's gonna run out of money.
Yeah, man, BJ's been hitting us so damn hard. It's that hard. Yeah, you got to come see the treehouse too. I'm so glad he's gone from there. Oh, there's a car now. That is that's pretty flashy. The bomb. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just, after playing with the dead, after playing with Bob Weir all day, I'm worn out, so I'm just hanging with my friends. I'm so tired of these groupies and stuff over here. Yeah, okay, no guys, stay over out of the, yes, not okay. I'll give you a little something later.
Stuff has to be faked, like,
Yeah.
So go ahead and take a sip again from it.
All right.
So it's like, all right, cool. You look over it that way. Just gonna. All right, so you seem to have a lot of people that like your music. So you recently played a festival?
Yeah, I played Slot Fest in Athens. It's I guess it's my friend puts it on every year. It's his answer to Pop Fest that they do.
All right, let's call it.
Yeah, I also feel like I'm just like forgetting a lot of really cool stories. Just like so many of them, but like they just come to me at random times.
No, that was good. Yeah, I like that picture. It was good. It's very popular. So, and yeah, no, that's cool. Thanks for helping me out with this. I think that just sometime soon I can get you performing.
Yeah.
I wanna be scared, I wanna be hurt, I wanna be a tree. Life is like a little broken bar of soap. withering away till down the drain I go. Ding dong the doorbell when I'm trying to sleep. Some asshole with a book of words smiling at me.